Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Don DeVore in response to should we boycott AI generated music? A video I did in May 2023. And Don writes, I could be wrong. But the story regarding the AI Drake is the song was composed and recorded by a ghost artist, and then they used the AI to change his voice in the mix and even call it Drake, or call it AI Drake, sorry. Now, I'm not 100% sure of completely all the details on this, I have to be honest. But you have heard more than I, if I'm brutally honest, because the details I heard was it was actually recorded by the AI. But it's very possible the AI made the vocal change, which is, you know, not beyond the realms of taking something that's already there and changing the vocal parameters effectively to sound like Drake. But whatever way you do it, effectively the voice was fake. It wasn't Drake, even if it was sold as being like Drake. The point is that the poster is using the AI to present a song whose point was to interact with the Drake fan base. The express idea of doing that was to make the poster money on the back of the fake interaction. That's the bottom line. It was, you could say it's fraud. Is it fraud? I'm not sure what the legal ramifications are, but to me that's a fraudulent misrepresentation. But I'm no lawyer. In my view, it started us down a slippery slope, if I'm honest, because we started off with vocal pitch correction using various pieces of software to correct the pitch and the vocals of people on songs, and now look where we're going. You know, the software can now write your song, record your song, sing on your song, and impersonate somebody who is not getting paid for that song being written and sounding in their own image. I'm not going to bang on about this, but there's going to probably be more things on AI coming. Now, what's really interesting is I paused there and didn't realise that actually there had been a follow-up to this. Don writes, this is true. It's something I suspected would happen. I had a conversation with a colleague years ago about about what it would take to create a speech synthesizer that could recreate a person's voice in different languages. The application would be a chip that goes into a Blu-ray or DVD player, allowing the disc to have a text file containing a wavetable of the actors' voices, along with an HTML-style script for different speech inflections of the movie script. This would then be processed by the synth chip, which would be all standard on all machines. This would mean for the size of an audio, a text file, you could have multiple audio languages without having to record multiple audio files with actors. And we're way beyond that now. David Guatta recently used a free AI website to create an NM vocal which sounds 100% realistic, and he is using it in one of his tunes. I wonder what the copyright situation is with that particular sample, if it is actually classified as a sample. I'm guessing he can use it, but he can't say it's Eminem. This is going to get messy. P.S. I forgot to say, as far as I know, artists are selling their digital rights so that music can be made after their death, and actors are doing the same thing so films can be made once they are long gone. Not a good situation, in my opinion. just thinking about that, if you're selling your likeness, I mean, you're getting to the point where what Disney did in was it Rogue One? I think they did it where they took the likeness of Peter Ustinov and morphed it onto another actor who was playing Peter Ustinov, not Peter Ustinov. Oh, I know. I mean, played Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. It's not Peter Ustinov. It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, but they did it with the family's blessing. They approached the family and said, "Could we use your husband's likeness?" And they said yes. Now, obviously, they sweetened the deal by making it a financial transaction. But that's what they did to allow the Rogue One to sit in the right point in the timeline with an actor that didn't look like the actor that was originally playing the part. So I get that. Now, it sounds like a great idea, the whole DVD piece that was described then. Style, a disc, probably prohibitive from moving that kind of idea forward. But it does sound like if the format was different, it might have been a flyer. In response to the legal position regarding the Eminem vocal, I'm not sure we have a set of legal precedents. This is what I said. I'm not a lawyer, but in either the UK, the US, or Europe that codify this position, and they're kind of the three places that law firms look for precedents. The UK being one of the oldest legal systems in the world, the US being the most litigious legal system in the world, and Europe being a very good sounding board for legal precedent, although the European Court of Human Rights does have a few questions to answer. But whoever said this is not financially motivated is wrong. The vocal is a sample, but it's a sample modelled on. It's not a sample of the actual person, and that's where the issue might be here. Is there an intellectual property breach? I think this is a question to be answered by somebody far more in depth by the law than me. Personally, I think it is an intellectual. I think impersonating somebody else is a breach of somebody's intellectual property if that is then used for profit, in my mind. But I think the jury is still out on this until somebody brings a series of test cases, and it will probably be built by a record company against somebody at some point in the future to start to test these principles. We've had recently in the US, we've had a couple of test cases. One was the Robin Thicke one on Blurred Lines, where the artist Robin Thicke actually lost that one, but it was all around melody. And we just had the Ed Sheeran case, where Ed Sheeran won that one because he successfully argued that all music is made up of the same basic building blocks, and therefore, if my building blocks sound the same as somebody else's building blocks, how can you say that I've copied them unless I've blatantly used everything in that song? Which I thought was very interesting argument, and actually a good argument for musicians, to be honest, because as Ed Sheeran rightly said, it doesn't matter what key you're in, there are only so many building blocks you can use to actually create a rhythm and a melody.